Welcome everybody to episode 5. Today we had a new friend with us. Hello, Joss. How are you doing, buddy?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. I'm great. It's been a while.
Awesome. Yeah, so Joss is our community manager, and he's in charge of our fan loyalty program and our Discord. And today we're gonna be having a little bit of a talk because we have a few subjects to discuss, and then he's gonna be sharing with us some questions for our Discord. He had a great idea of having fans record messages for us. So we're gonna see if we can actually make it work. All right, so this is fantastic. But first thing, Johann, what happened to your hair? Please show us.
It got cut. It was time. It had to go.
It got cut?
Oh yeah. No,
All right, show me. Take off the headphones. I want to see this. Oh my
That's
God.
fantastic.
Short all the way around.
We just lost the L'Oreal sponsorship. Thank you so much.
Well,
Working for
it took too long. Took too long.
Yeah. So, dude, how did you got to here? Like, I remember obviously you trying to grow your hair, but now?
I mean, I wasn't really trying to grow anything particular. I just was not cutting it. It was when Corona started. I just decided not to see the hairdresser for a while, and it just went on, and it was fun. It was fun to have long hair. I hadn't had it since I was a kid, but to be honest, it wasn't really. It's hard to say it's worth it to keep maintaining and to keep like the downsides for me outweigh a lot of the upsides of having short hair, because with long hair you want to take care of it. It's a pain to shower, it's a pain to go swimming, it's a pain to work out, many things become a pain. And I was longing for short hair, so I've been thinking about it for months because I didn't just want to make a decision of like, you know, that takes years to reverse. If I wanted the hair back, or if I wanted to have long hair. But nah, I am so happy to have short hair. I think this was a nice mix. I never had hairstyle like this before, so new ventures. It's been fun. It's been good. It's been freedom. It's relieving.
So now the joke that we have is that our friend Johann has the same haircut. He's joined the gang in Lisbon because Walter, our manager, has the same hair. Romeo, the kid that lives in the house, has the same hair. So now you're like 3 twinnies? Is that what you're going for?
You know what they say, right? Monkey see, monkey do. So I don't know, maybe subconsciously I was just seeing some haircuts and it's like that one. But I didn't really pick it. I knew I wanted short. I knew I wanted especially to get rid of the stuff in the back. But how do you get rid of stuff in the back without getting rid of stuff in the sides? And then how much did I want to keep on top? I didn't want to go back to like what I had for TI8. I wanted something different still. But yeah, no, maybe monkey see, monkey do. So consciously, I just ended up going with, what was around me. When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, maybe, honestly, maybe. I didn't consciously do it, but yeah.
I see. Well, I got the TI8 haircut, you know? I am wearing the Johann TI8 haircut.
Yep.
Sorry, Josh, what were you saying?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, see, for me, like when I get my haircut, the best thing is the shower afterwards, you know, where you're kind of like finally getting it clean, or getting rid of all the like tiny hairs that always come up after your haircut. But I've noticed like with your new one, Johann, you're still long on top. So I wonder, like, did you still get that same kind of like magical feeling of, wow, I feel so much better, so much cleaner?
For sure.
Is it like, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. The biggest difference was like when I showered the first time and I weighed it in my hand, you know, the weight of all the hair when it's wet compared to holding just whatever is on top. It's probably 20% of the weight. So that was like the biggest difference, and definitely super nice to feel the sides and feel the back being dry right away. It also pulls moisture right away from the top, so it keeps drying. Like it's drying a lot quicker than before, like 10x the speed. So very, very satisfying, very nice, especially the showers. Yeah.
I cut my hair and I shaved for the first time, the shaving part for the first time in a very long time. And it was not premeditated. I tried to do something different yesterday that didn't work. So I don't have hair here. Okay, so I have hair here, and it wraps around this. You can see in other videos. So I saw that there's some people that are shaving this side. So you have this side, and then it disconnect here and it's here. I look like a douchebag with it. And then I was like, okay, how do I do it now? Because I committed to this. And this was long and this is awful. And I was like, okay, I have a solution. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything shorter so the jump is not as dramatic. Didn't work. And I shorter and I shorter. And at one point I was like, oh, fuck it. It's all going out.
You look like a
but
baby
now
now.
I have the unintended consequences. You know, this is the butterfly, you know, that swings the wings. Because yesterday I went to an esport event and so many people came to me and said, hey, Carlos, how are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm not Carlos. And they were like, no, dude, we met in Berlin or we met in this. I was like, I am not Carlos, but this is awesome. So let me record it. So I actually messaged Carlos in the middle of the night saying, dude, what is going on? And I have this message. Carlos, acabo de ir al cumpleaños de Britney y 3 personas me han venido a decir, hey, Carlos, ¿qué tal? ¿Te acuerdas de mí? 3. So I'm telling him, like, dude, what is going on? I cut my hair and I shaved my beard and everybody thinks that it's you. What's so weird? And like, I have a friend that was messaging Carlos saying, hey, Carlos, you're in LA, dude, and you didn't tell me. And Carlos is messaging me, what is going on? It's like, no, it's me. They're meeting me and they think it's you.
You could have played it.
Carlos,
you could have ruined his relationships with people that night.
Carlos, I'm sorry. I promise I will never shave again. We will make sure that you're the clean shaven Spaniard and I'm the bearded Spaniard. It was not intended to, but it was really funny. Because the event also was at G2's birthday from one of the people from G2, which is why people may be associating, you know?
So you're just
funny accent.
You're just cutting off some facial hair, you know. It's trivial, and you have your friend. You get mistaken for your friend. Have you heard the story of Action Bronson? I don't know if I told you this one. Do you know the guy? He's a hip hop artist, and he's kind of famous for his beard. He's like ginger bearded. And then I read this online. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but supposedly he had woken up one morning. And he had not been like, you know, ready to shave or ready to trim his beard because he needed to maintain that. It was part of his image. It was part of like what he was known for. And he mistrimmed. And same thing, you know, there's no going back. Like once you have one side just dented in like that, then he took the whole thing off. And people got super upset because they had booked a ticket to Action Bronson. And because he didn't have his beard anymore, they were upset and they wanted refunds and the whole, I think the show got canceled. But yeah, imagine that. Like you're actually like you rely on your facial hair. I'm happy I don't. Good thing I don't. I don't know what people would be seeing in it, but yeah.
I mean, you guys cannot imagine how hard it is to upkeep a beard. For all of you guys don't have one,
it would be really scary to trim it when it gets a certain length, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's very, very scary. So I had beard before, and actually the photo on the podcast is me with a beard, and so I can't believe we're going to talk about beards, but pretty much the beard on the top grows out and the beard on the bottom goes down. So you have to trim the bottom part, but not the top part, but not the bottom part. That's how you get those beards that are like this, you know, which is the ones that everybody likes. But depends of the density of the hair. It's not really that easy because this for me goes up like this curve, you know, and this one looks like this. So I look like a Middle Eastern man because I do look Middle Eastern. My family and my blood are very related there. So I have to go to the side and cut this vertically down. And I have to continue cutting vertically down. Super scary. And then when you're in the bottom, you have to cut flat. Okay? That's how you get the chin. So it's all like by hand, you know?
Did you ever go to a barber? Did you ever do the barber thing?
Only once. Yeah, they were better than me, obviously. But yeah, I chipped one side and then I chipped the other side and then I have to start reducing them and I end up with no beard before. Yep. It happens to me twice.
See, I'm lucky. I just can't at this point. Like I've tried and it just looks awful. Like my uncle is he's like 46, 47. He still can't grow one. Like I feel like there's something in my family tree where it just doesn't happen.
No beard.
No. Well, I mean, like they can do stubble, but yeah, no one in my family has a full beard at all.
I'm so used to seeing myself with a beard that when I see myself without a beard, like right now, all I see is fucking nose. All I see is nose. Everywhere that I see is just, oh my God, has this been here the whole time? What's going on? And I have no chin. I lost my chin. I left it somewhere else. Even my cats, when they looked at me after I shaved, they looked at me like, who are you and what are you doing here? We've never agreed to this. They don't recognize me. They come and smell me. So anyway, that's the beer story of the day. I also see that monkey sees, monkey does. You're both also wearing the same hoodie.
It's comfortable.
Nice.
This is
Yeah,
a
man.
really good hoodie. I'm not gonna lie. Like I always wanted to have one of those college, like I guess it's the text that just does it, like completes the image, because it's just another hoodie. But then the text, the typing, or what's it called, the format of the letters, it just adds so much to it. And yeah, awesome. I've been working in this. I've been working out in this. I've been sleeping in this. This has been with me for a whole week right now. Wonderful. Wonderful to finally have one.
That is, we call it the CEO hoodie, just so you know. Because I always wear these American hoodies, the university hoodies. So that's where we got it from.
Well,
Just
I
like
mean,
it.
like,
In every meeting with it.
I was just about to say, like, every meeting at work, there's like, if it's not me, it's someone else wearing this hoodie. Like, yeah, it's just, I think it's really warm as well because it's like fleeced on the inside. So whereas I think kind of with some of the other merch we have, like the kind of older ones, they don't have that fleece lining on the inside.
Correct.
So like,
the new one.
yeah, it
it's
just
all
made
fleece.
this. Oh, the new ones are, yeah.
Yeah.
You say?
Sorry, I have a little bit delay, Josh. That's why I keep interrupting you. I'm in LA.
Same.
So this hoodie, we're not commercializing it yet. We never sold it. It's just for us. It was a test to see if people would like it. And so far you guys like it a lot. So we might have to make them.
This is a good product.
For the fans.
This is a good product. There are some hoodies, especially back in the day, and even OG hoodies that are harder to be as proud of, but this has been really good stuff. Also, the new hoodies are super soft.
Yeah, the new collection is pretty awesome. I have one here as well, and yeah, they have the inside flea, like Joe said. Dude, I've learned so much about hoodies, and I can share some of this thinking with you because I live in a warm weather, so all our hoodies had no fleece inside. It's not inside the soft. But I thought it was normal. But when I started making the hoodies and we start seeing the prototypes, every single time I will pick a hoodie, it will be without the inside. And every single time the European side of the company will choose it, they were like, no, we want these ones. And I was like, really? Because it's cold. So now I know that it's very comfy to have a warm hoodie like that.
There's also something with the softness. I never really cared about clothes growing up, but later on I started caring about a few things. And one of the things I pick up on is the feel of the clothing. And the hoodie I talk about, I'm going to mention the one that I got in LA, or that I got for free, or purchased. I purchased some clothes and I got 1 or 2 pieces for free. And this company was called Fuse, I think, and they had an amazing hoodie with really nice artwork, but it was Japanese cotton, and that was the most amazing cotton I had ever felt. Yeah.
It was a French terry hoodie. I know because I prototype it and I have the ability to make that hoodie. It's just for a special collection that we'll be doing somewhere in the future.
Yeah. It was very special cotton.
That hoodie is coming back. Okay, well, my friends, we have a few topics today, and then we're gonna go to this Q&A. I have a very interesting conversation that I had with someone the other day based on the Logan Paul podcast. I don't know if you guys watch it. It's called Impulsive. And they made with this singer, the guy that sung the I Took a Pill in Ibiza, Mike Posner. And he has gone through a very interesting spiritual journey in the last few years of his life. I think he felt himself was like really going down this slope and dark hole of like concerts and tour and all that. And he decided to go to across the United States walking. It took him like 5 to 6 months. And he started in New Jersey in the water, walked out of the water all the way across to LA into the water. And that was his journey. And he was posting online saying, hey, I'm going to be here this time. I'm going to be here this time. And people will join him through the journey. And he was never like, hey, I'm here, but it was more like, hey, I'm in this area. Come and find me if you want to talk. And when he met people, the first thing that he will ask is, why are you here? And there was like no wrong answer, you know. Some of them were just here because, oh, dude, you're Mike Posner and you're cool and I want to say hi. But a lot of them were because they were like dealing with trauma and with loss in their family, because Mike started doing this because his father died. I think his father or his mother. So he went on this journey because he wanted to spend a little bit more inside of his brain instead of the outside part. Anyway, the podcast was amazing. The conversation with him was amazing. But there was something that I wanted to share with you guys, because he was talking about that how when you do something that is completely different from what you normally do, you put yourself in a completely different situation than what you would normally be. And he got to learn things about himself by doing this. And he later went and climbed Everest, and he's been doing a bunch of other things. And he talked in the podcast about how a big part of this is just ego. Like, I just want people to think that I'm cool. But a lot of the other part were this intellectual journey of where we are in, how do we be happy? Is society taking us to a place where we're happy? I don't know. I was super inspired about it. And I don't know. I wanted to share it with you guys if you have the chance to see it, because it makes me feel like I know I don't have time to do this, which is why exactly maybe I should do this. Like a reset. And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you guys have something to share about this with it.
If I can share something, he also got bit by a snake on one of his trails that almost killed him.
Really?
That's
Wait, on his walk across US?
Yes. Like
so he's going on a life-changing walk, and
hospital.
A snake bites him and tries to kill him.
And he almost died.
Jesus.
So that was,
Jesus.
Ah, it's cool to
he carried
finish.
on.
So I guess that
he finished, right?
He finishes. He's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You don't quit just because a snake bite you, just.
I mean, life throws stuff at you. You know, a lot of people would quit, I think.
Depends how big.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think from this story that I just told you? Have you ever contemplated anything like that, like a reset of where you are?
I think for me, it kind of happened when like we had coronavirus kick in, because so me and my girlfriend had just moved into our own place in January 2020, and then like 2 months later, the UK goes into total lockdown over coronavirus, and it's, you know, you can't go outside. You can only go to the shop for essential shopping, but nothing else. And my girlfriend had to go and stay with her parents to look after her kid brother. She had to go and stay with her mum. So it ended up just being me alone in the house for about 2 months, 2.5 months, until my birthday, where I got to like go and see my family. And during that time, because it was literally just, I'd wake up, I'd work my boring corporate customer service job. I worked in a call center. You know, it was
This is
very
before
draining.
OG,
It was about
by the way.
accounting. Pardon?
I don't put him in a call center. I said this is before OG, just to contextualize the
Oh,
story.
yeah. And it was during that period of my life where I'm just waking up, doing a job I dislike, and then playing video games, going to sleep, that I kind of realized like I'm getting nothing from this. I'm getting no enjoyment, no fulfillment, other than a paycheck at the end of a month that doesn't really go further than, a few takeaways, a few video games, So it was around that time that I thought, you know what, I've played Dota for 7-8 years, and I've never tried to get involved. I've never, like, not community groups or like actual the esports side of thing. I'd followed the scene and I'd played the game, but it had always just been a fleeting hobby, and not something to commit any time or resources of my own to. So yeah, I thought, you know what, I'll find more people and I will kind of get involved. And then later on that year, I think the OG Discord opened, and I like put myself forward for that, volunteered to help like set it up, run things, and then well, here we are, like 2 years and a month after I moved into that house, and I now work for OG. So like that, for me, that was the moment, just spending a lot of time alone with myself and realizing that like I can't just work a job to pay rent, I need to work a job to do something that I find enriching, So yeah, I can kind of relate to just doing something you're not comfortable with, spending time alone with yourself, because it really helps you come to terms with what's important for yourself.
This is amazing. I didn't even know any of this story when we hired you.
Yeah. No, I only started getting involved and volunteering and stuff because coronavirus forced me to spend 2.5 months alone with myself, just working a crap job and playing video games. So I thought, let's do something.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
How about you, Johann?
Yeah, no, Corona, I was just going to comment that Corona probably made a lot of people self-reflect like that. I think I also got a level of self-reflection during it, but yeah, no, the other story is also a great typical life story. I want to say I've heard in many shapes and forms before, you know, people travel path and eventually they have to take a turn and the sake of themselves, for the sake of change, for the sake of enlightenment, or like wisening up, to learn something, to see something, or to just find happiness, right? And wherever it is, in one way, I think I've been on many already. Like I could talk about, but obviously Dota ones have been probably the biggest sacrifices I've had to make have always been because of Dota. The amount of sacrifices I've had to make have always been because of Dota, and so I would put my story in that world where if this weren't to work, if Dota wasn't to work, probably around my around Frankfurt Major when I was that makes 2016, right? Was 2016 Frankfurt? It was right, or was it still late 2015? Either way, I must have. Yeah, I must have been 21 at the time. I think if I wouldn't have won Frankfurt, or if that part of my Dota career wouldn't have gone good, I wouldn't be here telling a story of like I got out on the other side happy and blah blah blah. Because at that moment, it had been I've told this story before. It had been half a year with C9, getting kicked from Team Secret after making it, and going really hard and really trying with Fnatic for almost 3 years. Yeah, eventually, you know, stuck through it, took everything. I've tried, I want to say I've tried from the beginning to do right by myself and by others, and be a good player and blah, blah, blah. And to then have not felt like I got enough out of it and also sacrificed so much and had it so hard that it, you know, I almost didn't go for it, almost didn't go for the next run, the next year, the next season, OG, Frankfurt and all that. Yeah, like that was definitely my redemption arc for myself. I started believing in myself. I started feeling that this became worth it, that Dota was a thing I wanted to do to fully immerse myself into, you know, from almost being at the point of like, shit, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't do it. I actually don't know what I would have done at that moment, but yeah, that was probably my crossroad. That moment I had to really change something and really do something, and it started out really well. Couldn't have asked for anything better. I mean, Frankfurt and the Frankfurt run, and I mean the team that we had, like the energy and the motivation that was put into it, it was super inspiring and definitely continued my my career in the direction it went.
That's awesome. It was like 2015, dude.
November. Yeah, it was 2015 November. Yeah, late 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I think for me, I had like 2 different moments in my life of really wake up. It's actually funny. I don't know. I'm going to share it, but I don't know how I'm going to feel after I share it. I had a friend of mine who died when we were very young. We were 23. He actually got tongue cancer and died like in a week. From I have a Kinko story in my mouth to I'm dead in like 2 weeks maybe. So fast. And the last time I saw him, it was back then we had Skype, and he said, "Can you get on Skype for a second?" And then, yeah, he was there, and half of his face were like badly lead, and he said, "I'm here to say goodbye," and I'm like, "Sorry," and he said goodbye. And there was a moment after that of like, what am I doing? Because I think my whole life has been designed, you know, for the late game. And hey, one day I'm gonna be doing this, and one day I'm gonna be doing this, and I'm doing this because one day I will get to do this. And that hit me like a truck. I mean, I still carry that with me every day, even 15 years later, 13 years later. And it really showed me the fragility of life, and that at any time you go, and you better be doing something extraordinary for yourself or for someone else, or just be happy at least, And it gave me like, okay, this is real, the engine is starting. And after that, I looked at myself, like you said, Josh, where am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? I knew I want to make movies. I knew I was already in LA. And back then, the easiest thing is, okay, you work for a bigger production and you bring coffee to fancy directors and you do those things. And I said, hey, 1 second. Like, if I go tomorrow or I go in a year, do I want to go making my own movies, or do I want to go just serving coffee to someone? Even just to say that I'm part of this very fancy movie, And I said, no, I want to go my own way. The next day I quit, and I actually quit my relationship that I was in as well, because I was not in a very happy relationship. And I started making my own movies. And after that, I made movie after movie. The first one were tiny, $25,000. They were crappy. And then they got a little bit better. Then they got a little bit better. And then I have two summits. This is summit number 1. Summit number 2 is that I actually summited movies. I made movies. I made my first studio movie as a director at 27th. And at 29th, I plateau again. There was a moment where, well, movies are not making me happy either. And do you remember, like, there's a director called Tony Scott? He directed Top Gun. He's Ridley Scott brothers, the guy that did Gladiator and all that.
Yeah.
So Tony Scott killed himself in LA. He jumped out of a bridge. And I was like, wait a second. This guy has the life that I hope one day to have. He has all the movies, all the talent and everything. What are the demons that he was going through in his mind that make this person, extraordinary person, do something like that? And I remember that I was sitting on my movie on the ground after finishing, because they're complicated, but when you make movies and you shoot nights, every single time there is a night scene in the movie, what you do is you group them together, because you can only shoot like 12 hours a day. So if you do like from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., you don't have time to shoot nights. So for weeks, you shoot days, and then for weeks, you shoot nights, weeks at a time. You lose your mind because you start working at 6 p.m. and you leave at 6 a.m. But at 6 a.m. you cannot really go to bed because the whole city is up. So I was filming weeks of night, and I remember sitting on the ground after I finished my movie, the one that I directed for MGM, and I'm like, I can see the darkness. I can see it. It's there, I can see it. Because at the end of the day, the movie becomes the only thing that validates your life. You're only the movie. You don't have personal relationship with anybody. You're not emotionally available for anybody ever. You cannot have a normal girlfriend. You cannot have a normal boyfriend, partner, nothing. You cannot have pets. And that is the day that I stopped directing movies. That was my second wake-up call. Just being on the ground there, seeing the trailers leave and everybody packing for my movie that I wrote and I produced, I'm thinking, I can't do this again. And I have produced for other people, but I've never directed ever since. So maybe it would have been healthy there to take a few months and go and walk around to deal with that darkness. I went to therapy after that, and it was one of the best things I ever done. And I publicly want to say it's amazing. Therapy has changed my life. And everybody uses therapy for different things. For me, I felt that it was like I had a backpack with a stone of 1,000 kilograms, and somebody was gonna be like, "Hey, let me help you with that backpack." Let's start taking things out. And then I've used therapy and coaching for be able to communicate better, feel less angry with the world, and all that. And if you're hearing this and you do have those feelings, dude, you're not alone, or you're not alone. We all go through these moments. The darkness is real. There's help out there, And I thought it was very open and honest, the conversation with this singer on this podcast, and inspired me to actually have an honest and open conversation about this with you guys, because I feel that sometimes people romanticize where we are at and who we are. And well, they don't have problems like I do. maybe our problems are slightly different, but deep in our hearts, it's the same fears, and the same lost and the same.
Just to throw something in there, just because you mentioned it now, it's like people like to
Yeah.
portray a lifestyle, and probably as a society, it's not healthy to always look at the ultimate depiction of what is best. You can't take movies for reality, neither can you take social media, most things as reality, and like people's lives, and think that this is like how life is. And when I mean life, is like truly how life is. What we all have to go through. We all have to eat. We all have to deal with things. We all blah blah blah. But I recently got into an app. My friend was telling me about it. It's called Be Real. Have you heard of it? It's just called Be Real,
No.
and it's like a social media type app,
Okay.
and you can only do one post a day, and it's telling you now it's time to post, and then it'll let everyone know how late you were on posting. So it's like the idea is you're just supposed to, when you see it, grab your phone and then snap a picture or whatever it is you're doing. You're busy doing part of your life. On the toilet, having breakfast, at work, whatever it is, and it'll take a picture both ways of yourself and what you're doing. So I don't know, like I do think that there are pushbacks from people, society as a whole, whatever you want to call it, like trying to ground and trying to, because if you end up overworking yourself, you end up falling, even if it starts out as your passion, if you end up falling into some incredibly toxic loop, dark spiral, dark circle, all those things, and you're not getting out, you're not getting much help, if any help, then it can go really poorly. You can go into a place where shit, it really feels terrible. And like with the story of your friend, I've heard a lot of smart people say it, and I agree. I live my life the same way, where tomorrow is not in your control. It's unpredictable. It's never in your control. And with that being said, I think it could help people make decisions for themselves, for what they want to do, how they want to spend their time, how they want to spend today and tomorrow. Same thing with the movie Don't Look Up. Like there's a lot of these topics that go about as well, where it's like, as a society and stuff, like, can you trust everybody to do the right thing? Can you trust everybody to not succumb? Like I've heard of the addictions, people getting addicted to Instagram, people getting addicted to live their fairy tale, to take their pictures, to
You're
live
designed
that,
to make you addicted.
to live your social media life. And it's like you're painting a picture, you're making a movie, a still frame of something that looks perfect, but it never is. We can get all philosophical and be like, the perfect circle only exists in the human mind. And the same thing with these perfect lives. They don't exist. Like everybody, we all have to go through stuff. And I think it's healthy to share that. And it's healthy to not run away from it and like pretend that you're not dealing with life like everyone is, And then there are a lot of people who have a lot.
Actually.
Oh, go on. Sorry, I'm done.
No, keep going. Sorry. I was going to say, it's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, because I wanted people to get to know you how I get to know you. And the inside part of you, I think, is, in my opinion, 100,000 times more fascinating than the part that you portrayed outside. I think Johann Human is, in my opinion, one of the most amazing and inspiring people I ever met. And Johann Captain, it is as well, but for completely different reasons, Like, and people are getting to know you a little bit more. Like, Josh, you get to see now things from the podcast of Johann that you didn't know about him, even though he's the owner of the company and he's there, we're seeing him in a more human part.
Yeah, like 100%. I think, kind of going back to what you were saying, Johann, about social media being a projection of it's a projection of achievements a lot of the time. People romanticize other people on social media, but then when they look at their own, they only see like failures or kind of issues. And I think I agree. I think this podcast is a great idea because it humanizes OG. It humanizes both of you instead of being, it's N0tail, he's won TI twice, but sure, that's a part of you, but it's not. You're not just that, There's a lot more to you as a person, and I think this podcast is the perfect way to kind of deliver that.
Because we're humanizing, and because later we will have the questions Like we're gonna have probably like
Yeah,
a harder connection or deeper connection with the fans because they're gonna be reading their own questions to us.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of like the reason I wanted to do that is so they can start asking questions not just about Dota 2 or esports, but about yourselves as individuals. And I think it's it's a great step forward. Because as you were saying, social media is just a projection of, it's just what other people want you to see at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So with this and being able to spend this time, it's perfect.
Johann, I wanted to add one thing because there is something that has been really troublesome for me, that I feel guilty for some successes that I have. Like I cannot be sad because I am the CEO of OG and it's an incredible achievement. Like I am not allowed to be sad because I have the job that everybody else wants to have. But my mind doesn't understand that I'm not allowed to be sad. I am very blessed. I am extremely, extremely proud and lucky and blessed of where I am and what I get to do. But I still feel sad because I'm not perfect, And yeah, I feel that we have to take that taboo away from people. Like, well, everything is going your way. You're not allowed to be sad. Okay, well, my brain doesn't know that.
Yeah, I mean yeah. So I could make the same point differently, or like similarly. You have celebrities, you have these names. Again, social media. It's you portray the idea of a person. You portray the image of a human. Let's throw a name in there: Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt. I just give you that name. Now you might sit there and fantasize all day about what he does, what he eats, what kind of yacht he's at, and how he doesn't deal with all the shit that you're dealing with, and you're spending every second in your body, in your mind, having a lot of problems, and you tend to not attribute all of those to a celebrity. Of course, I agree that financial stability and financial security are big things that a lot of people would first, when they portray another celebrity or somebody with status or whatever. But everybody makes their own problems. Everybody has problems. Everybody is a human. Everybody has smelly farts. Everybody, they have to go through parents dying, through pets dying, through feeling alone, through not feeling loved, through feeling hated by people, feeling the envy, feeling the anger, feeling the jealousy. And I think this whole thing of portraying a person without meeting them is like the simple saying you get as a kid, like, don't judge a book by its cover. And then sometimes, of course, you can make up your mind about a person. But yeah, quite often there's a lot of stigma, and I felt it too. I feel it too. I made a tweet earlier today and I think about these things. I made a tweet about the battle passes where I'm like, I bought the 330 levels before they reduced the price. I'm like, shit, I didn't want to waste the money. And then it's like, oh, you only have this many more millions to go. And it's like, yeah, but I pay people. I don't hoard my money. It's still out there. I'm still like living life. I'm still taking, and then I have a lot of responsibility. I have all these things. So like money did give me a lot of problems. Money did make a lot more problems for me. And I still go through with that. And some days I want to be like, fuck it, fuck it. I never wanted any of this. That's like, again, everybody has problems. Everybody goes through stuff. All our bodies are growing, decaying, changing. Our minds we get depressed. The weather changes, stress. I mean, we're all facing imminent apocalyptic threats all the time. If you go read the news, it's like, there are parts of life that always throw stuff at you. So I do think it's important, to remember that we're all just human. And I mean that. Even Jeff Bezos, even Elon Musk, even though they have all these billions, they're still just people. They're just people. They are, people is not a just thing, but they are people like you. And I do think if you knew all the story behind, people would not be judging as hard. People tend to judge very hard, and I get that as well, because it's not everybody has it easy. It helps to project sometimes, and it helps to do that. It helps to vent, I guess, a bit. But yeah, it's a dangerous game to always think the worst of people. Always think that they don't go through problems like you do.
I like one thing that you said that is honestly, it's always eye-opening. Every time I talk to you, this is why I want to record this on the podcast, because there are concepts that I never considered. I've never considered that you never wanted any of this money. You didn't want to run OG. You didn't do this. You open OG just as literally survival moment of, if I don't do this, I have no control over my future, and I don't believe that I can win because they're not giving me the chance to win. OG was never supposed to be this. It was supposed to be a means to an end of your self-protectiveness. And then winning the money that you won was never the objective. It was a consequence of the objective. And when I can only imagine, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but I don't think at any point you said, okay, if we win this game, we make this is how we're doing this. You were just playing the game like you played the game before, and like you were doing before. Yeah, it's a thought in your mind, but you're there to win and to win and to win and to win. And then suddenly you stop. You are, how old are you? 28 right now?
28.
28. And then it's like, okay, I am the owner of a massive company. I have massive responsibilities. Every day we meet, Johann, Sepp, and I, to talk about the company every day. And there is a lot of pressure on our shoulders. We have to carry all these things. But it's not like a burden. It's completely the opposite. This ends up being a bigger bless that none of us ever thought about. Because we're really trying so hard to nurture a place where inside the company we're all supporting each other, the players, the staff. Like if I have a breakup, I kind of like have the support inside the company that I need. But we have to figure out how to maintain the dream, Johann. How do we maintain the dream alive? What do we need to do to make this happen? And the reality is that Johann and Seb are financially very, very involved with the company. And yes, paying $300 or $400 for 300 levels of battle pass, it's like, yeah, well, I could have done something better with this money. So I get it.
Yeah, and just talking
It's
about it,
not that you
like
have like
I don't want to
really
be
crazy.
excluded. I don't want to be gatekeeped for I'm like I'm not even in the 1%, like per se. As in, yeah, I'm young, yeah, I made some money, but it's still like the world is we're a lot of people on the planet, and I do think there's a lot of imbalance and there's a lot of unfairness, and I wish things were different, but the world has definitely gotten very tense up about many things, and there's like some things you can't even talk about anymore. And when that happens, I just feel like it's cancel culture, and it's all just so tense.
I mean, like, to go back to what you said, like, we're all human, and regardless of how much money you have in your bank, if you see a deal that you've just missed, say with these battle pass levels, you're gonna feel annoyed, like, regardless of what your situation is.
I could buy me a lot of yogurt and ice cream at Aldi, and that's how I measure it in my head.
Exactly.
I'm like, that was a lot of yogurt.
And I also think that Johann,
So, yeah.
I know we don't talk about this very often publicly because at the end of the day, money is always a very tricky conversation, But I've lived with you. Neither of us have really ostentatious vices or things. For us, the pinnacle of our weekend was, like he said, should we drive to Aldi with my mom's old car and buy ice cream and then do a barbecue? That was like, yeah, that sounds awesome, So, I mean, I'm not saying that we are like struggling. It just means that we never really have a lot of very expensive vices. And most of our time and most of the money is like, how do we do this for OG? How do we do this? And you've been extremely generous with your money. Like, honestly, there is something that I get very defensive, which obviously I don't want to get in a rant right now because I will get passionate. But anytime somebody accuses Johann and Seb, oof, I lose my mind. Because there is a lot of people that have made similar money that are not at all putting their money where their worth is. You said you wanted a company with these values and you put the money to make it happen. And you said you wanted this for all more people and you put your money. We were literally spending their money to grow OG to a place where we would not need their money. What else can you ask for a 25, 26, 27-year-old? What else can you ask? These guys were Dota players that were fantastic that later decided to make the world better. The part of the mission of OG is to inspire other esports teams to do it this way. That you don't have to be scummy, You don't have to do it this way. You can actually succeed like this. And yeah, it's like, what else you want? Like, how much, like, I don't know how to say it, like what else? Because I am way more imperfect than you. If I had that money at 25, I would be a douchebag. And I will be unbearable. I will walk around town like flipping on my fingers saying, I want TI, bitches. I would be impossible. And you are like completely the opposite, like it didn't get to your head and you said, okay, now that I have that platform, what do I get to do with these? How do I get that? It's like, of course, like I joined OG, and of course we get to get people like as amazing as Jos and Michael that is here on my ear, and all these people. And when you come here, nobody really comes here as a mercenary. We are all missionaries. We're here for a mission. And we are, yes, I think fairly compensated. We have great work conditions, but everybody gives us, I think, 10 times more than we give them, Johann, you know? Dude, everybody's so passionate about OG every day with ideas. And I don't know, dude, kudos to you guys. Because
If you keep blowing smoke,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
agreed.
blow up, dude. It's
Yeah. But do you see like how humble you are? No, you just take the air out. Like, dude, take the fucking compliment. You are a
I'll
very,
take the
very inspiring
compliment.
human being. Very inspiring.
Give it to me. Oh,
You are. And I just want you to know that you are. Even yesterday, I was having a shitty day, you know, and I called Johann, and yeah, we had a rough conversation. But after that, he was able to tank something for me that maybe was not fair for him that he was tanking. And I messaged you. I don't know if you've seen the voice message,
no,
but I did thank you for it, you know? It meant a lot. Your generosity. Anyway, you're awesome also, Josh. I just didn't live with you for a year. So maybe
No,
one
yeah.
day. Okay,
Who knows?
so if you want, let's stay away to the other conversations and let's start the Q&A.
Yeah, so with me coming on the podcast, I thought this would be a great idea to kind of go into our fan Discord, collect some questions from the fans, because the guys in there are like diehard OG fans, you know. They're there every match day. They're like buying merch. They're in our streams. Like, for example, like Tiger's been streaming at midnight most days, and I know that I can go into that Twitch chat and I'll recognize names in the Twitch chat who are also active on our Discord.
This
You
is
know,
awesome.
these guys are, I think, the core of a fan base. So I've selected a handful of them to kind of ask questions today. And yeah, if you guys enjoy it, you know, maybe it's something we can do more of in the future. But it's a great
Love it.
opportunity for them to speak to you guys directly. Yeah, props to these guys for being brave enough to record themselves and kind of put themselves out here as well, because I know that can be scary as well. So kind of to those of you who have submitted a video, thank you so much. Yeah, but by all means, let's get started. So the next one we've got queued up here is Pupi. They're one of our Discord moderators. They've only joined us recently, but they've been amazing in kind of dealing with the fans and kind of keeping everyone in an upbeat and happy mood. And I'm kind of so happy that they've been able to ask a question here. So yeah, Mike, if you want to play the clip.
Hey guys, how are you? I've got a very general question that is, what's the best and the worst part about working with each other? And this is indeed a question meant for you to roast each other, so please don't hold back. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. It's really cool listening to you guys, your insight, and it is indeed something we really look forward to every week. Bye.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for the words. I want to roast you, then you roast me, and then I'm going to roast myself.
okay.
The best part about working with Johann is that he is constantly generous with his time, his knowledge. He's constantly there to help me when I am lost or where my inner speech is poisoning me. He's very fast to identify. The worst part is that he has the attention span of a 2-month puppy. So I can't get conversations with him longer than 10 minutes unless I'm literally chasing him around the house. And at one point, he's looking at me like, I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'll try back tomorrow. This is a real thing that has happened. I don't think that you could put Johann back into a classroom and have 5 hours or 6 hours of class. He's done with that period of his life. Johann, how about me?
So I'm doing the best first as well before I get to roast you. Okay.
Yeah, I would say.
I would say usually you would add the sugar after roast first, but let's go first with the kind words. Okay. So best part about working with Jay is the energy, motivation, and inspiration he brings every day. It is definitely out of this world level of motivation, or very rare to see in this world level of motivation. And it brings me youth, it brings me joy. Yeah, it gives energy, you know, real raw motivation, which I crave for. It's the same reason why a lot of Dota teams were made the way they were made, and why a lot of Dota teams I think succeed. So Jay continues to prove me right on that. It's an important attribute. Now the worst part working with Jay, yeah, is his ability to keep talking for hours and hours and hours, and to keep going and to keep going. And it's unbelievable, like how fast he also can talk. I don't mind it. I don't think it would necessarily like end the conversation quicker. Like I can process the information, but my God, like the fact that there's so much and it doesn't end. I think is also why he was able to do the things he's done in his life, be a director and direct movies, because I think you need that mode, you need that gear. But yeah, that's also why living with him I think is dangerous. Going to work with him is great. Like 5 hours, maybe I could go to school 4. 5 is but I would need my breaks and stuff. But going to 5 hours class with Jay as a professor would be, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it. I would last like 3 days and I would have lost it. I would have completely lost it. So
the problem is when he lives with me, he can't run away.
Yeah.
I chase him.
Yeah.
So I've literally chased him. Like I've chased him into his room. I've chased him into like, hey, I'm gonna have a shower. Okay, I'll wait for you here. And he's like, I would just chase him. Like, I'm not done. I have so many more things to tell you. And the roast about myself is that I am very emotional. Very, very emotional. And I think that through discipline, I've been able to control my emotions. But for me, the fire comes in 2 shapes or form, you know? The fire is really good when it warms and it cooks. But there is moments where I need help bringing it back, you know? And there are moments with Johann that he's very stable. And I can see how I rock your boat too much. Like yesterday, you were probably dealing with your own day. You didn't think that I was going to call you. And then I call you, hey, Johann, I have this problem. And you're like, okay, I'm done for the rest of the day because I am not going to be able to do anything else besides thinking about this. And I think that could be very disruptive. And I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I think it's natural. I think it's healthy. I think that's how work should also be conducted. Is people can pick up the phone and talk. You know, I think we're both very emotional people, so it's a good match. But it's also volatile when it's like, if we were, I don't cry at movies, but I was gonna say if we were to watch like a sad movie or something, we would probably like boost each other's emotions in that sense. But I can imagine.
So nice. They love each other so much.
Do you cry? Do you cry at movies if people die and stuff, Jay?
I cry every movie. I don't even have to cry. Anybody knows I have to cry. I watch Tick Tick Boom and cried the whole movie.
Okay, I don't cry at movies,
I was not even emotionally ready to watch that movie. Like I was, like, you know, I was sipping like what, just going over, and then the movie started. I was like, oh, who's in this movie? Andrew Garfield's in this movie? I was like, I was a mess. I have to go to actually in the middle of the movie, just stop the movie and wash my face and blow my nose because I was a mess. That movie hit me home because it's about a guy that is turning 30 while he's making movies and he has to make the decision, do I continue with my passion or do I go back and be a normal human being, get married and all that? I literally went through that at 30. A mess. I cry with everything. I cry with Toy Story. I don't even need
humans to die. You cried at Toy Story? Oh my goodness.
Dude, I cry with all sports movies. I cry watching football. I was watching the Bengals versus...
You cry at Adam Sandler movies?
I don't even know who they're playing against. And I was just crying in the bar. I went to see the game in a bar. And I'm crying like I try so hard. This is amazing. In the Olympic Games, people that I've never even heard of in my life. A sport that I didn't even know exists. And you see them holding the trophy and they're crying and I'm crying. Because I know how hard these people try.
Yeah. Anyway. It's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I only cry when the dog dies in films.
Oh.
When the dog dies?
Yeah.
Well, if a dog dies in a film, do you know there's a website where you can go to it? I think it's called like does the dog die in this or .com or something.
Yeah, does the dog die? I just googled the first thing that came up. Does the dog die?
Yeah.
You created to warn
you
people.
You can type in the name of any movie. You can type in the name of any movie, and it will tell you if the dog dies at the end.
So John Wick for you has to be devastating.
Oh, but there
John
has a
Wick?
bunch of different
That's the whole point,
categories
it's okay.
actually. Also has catch dying and flashing lights. Okay.
We have a person with like a secret jacket and a liquid hoodie. This
Oh, that's
7
an
or 10
old
minutes
OG
of
t-shirt, right?
airtime.
Underneath? It's an old OG t-shirt
yeah,
underneath.
yeah. So
Okay.
so
So he's just
so
very
this is Will.
confused.
I know this guy. I'll introduce him in a second.
Alright.
But then he said, "Oh, I've got a load of like different esport merch. Can I wear it?" And I was like,
Huh?
you know, by all means, go for it. Show
Sure.
off what you've got. So he's got the old OG, then a liquid hoodie, then a secret thing on the back. So I was like, yeah, just knock yourself out. Wear what you want.
Okay, let's
yeah.
hear it.
Hey guys, I'm Will. I'm actually a Discord moderator for OG, and I've got a question that I think we've all had on our minds this entire time. OG's gone through several generations of teams from Dota, CSGO, Valorant. In the Dota team, we've had several generations of hair, from Topson being the newcomer on the scene, then becoming the Chad of the scene. We've had N0tail becoming a Viking. We've had Jerax just being Jerax. We've also then had in the CSGO section, we've had Alexi B being Alexi B and just looking amazing. We've had Mantu. But my question is, in the whole time that OG has been a team, staff or players, who's had the best hair in the team? And who's had the craziest hair?
I mean, it's Johann. Do we even have to spend a lot of time doing this?
Oh,
I think every
I don't
girl
agree.
and every guy in the company will want to have your hair.
I mean, my hair was great. It is great. It is thick. It is juicy. It is great. But I would still give the prize to Seb, because the thing is, he does nothing for his hair. I don't think he ever conditions it. And every day when we he always has his hair would always naturally sit really good. He would take off his shirt and it would be even better. You know, when I take off my shirt, I got hair sticking out everywhere and whatever. I have to kind of fix it. But whatever he would do to it would make it better. It was crazy. There's only very few times in the morning where he had the bird nest. He must have done something crazy to get it, because normally it just all works for him. And I think he does zero maintenance, zero care. And yeah, I will give it to Seb.
I've seen Seb coming out from waking up in the room and he looks perfect.
Yeah.
And in my head, it's like, oh, so you just
the pillow does something.
Up,
Everything
shower,
does something. Everything touches it. It just starts like going the right way. Like, it's very rarely he'll get the nest. Like, Topi has had really good hair, of course. Yes has had really good hair. I like Anna's hairstyle, honestly. Sometimes, not always, but yeah, no, I mean, I'll still give it to Seb.
I would say that
for me,
because maybe.
Tell me.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh. I interrupted him.
Yeah, so I think there's one night in particular I can think of that my personal favorite is Topson's hair on the the True Sight watch like event with was it TI9 True Sight?
Must have been
party,
TI9,
where he wore the red suit and then had the big hair off to the side.
Yeah.
I think that was like that individual night was top tier.
I think that night is the first and only time of OG that I was like, he looks like a movie star. He did look like a movie star. He was amazing. Good for him. Because I think, Johann, okay, so are you guys really inspiring each other to be healthy? Because I know that when we live, we have a healthy lifestyle. And I get inspired by you guys, so we all do it. So in a way, it actually is like a circle where we all work out and we all eat healthy and we have the chef cooking healthy food. And
let me zoom out. I mean, you said the word circle. I think it probably starts always, it's not always restricted to age, but usually the older, the wiser. And me coming into esport, I came from a place like 15, 16 years old when I was there, where I was eating semi-healthy stuff a couple times a week, and then for the most part, like pretty shitty food. And it was always my teammates who tend to be a better inspiration. Like, people wouldn't really drag each other down very much. I mean, sometimes like, hey, McFlurry, you know, have a McFlurry. But in OG and for the last many years, I want to go even back to the very beginning. And even if, like in Fnatic times, it was also Fly, it was Honey. They were very healthy. And that stuff rubs off. And when you're being a good teammate and stuff, you do want to give, you know, the good healthy habits and at least show the way that it's not so bad to try and be healthier and whatever. And I gotta say that for a lot of the young players, if they would have been given the menu and given the choice, it would not have been good. I think it's been very healthy for them to be in our team. I don't know if every team has had a good approach to this, but it's like, again, it's a very open thing. People, of course, can have wishes, but part of also becoming a good competitor will be conscious of everything, even the things you put inside you.
Yeah.
And I would say for the most part
Johanna's
in
doing
OG,
a great job. Eh? She's a great cook.
yeah, and for the most part in the last, I would say, 5 years of my Dota career, there's been a good amount of healthy meals, healthy habits being rubbed off and being shown and being like a theme. So yeah, I don't even know where we came from, where we started, but
The hair, I think it actually reflects there. I really think, honestly, that healthy habits and healthy way of living that's why the guys look healthy. You know, the guys look healthy because they're healthy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, it's like it's really about everyone succeeding at everything. You want to see them succeed, you know, and that's usually like the first notch, because people also want to succeed themselves. So when you create that environment and you do that for each other, and you then also inspire, like, yeah, you inspire and teach and talk, put focus on it. It moves things. It definitely does things. I think Anand, if I remember correctly, had only cooked 2 things before he joined me in Copenhagen, and that was the chicken nuggets in the oven and the garlic bread also in the oven. That was his abilities. That was his unlearned cooking abilities. Yeah.
Reminds
You
me
look
of
great, Johan,
when
by
I
the
was
way.
at uni.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, do you see the color? You know, just like, remember a few months ago when he was finished Dota career, it looks like he was rough. Now you look fantastic. You have color. You've been working out. It's been great. Sorry, Josh, what were you saying about uni? I interrupted.
Oh no, I was just saying from Anna's menu. It reminds me of my first year at university, where I'd kind of, obviously, like, I wasn't living with my parents. I was in a hall with a bunch of other students, and so what do you cook? You cook
Oven food.
instant noodles, garlic bread, chicken nuggets, anything that's quick, easy, and ideally requires less washing up. So that just reminds me of that unfortunate time in my life.
Let's go with the next video. I don't know if it was a lot of roasting. Actually, I heard more complimenting, but sure.
Hi guys, this is Carlene from the Philippines. Kumusta? I hope everyone is doing well. First of all, congratulations on your new roster. Both the Dota and CSGO are doing really well. So yeah, good job. So question, if you can go back and relive a year in your life, which year was it and why? And is there anything that you want to change or do differently? Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye. Well, this is awesome. First, I will say, the moment that she said, if you could go back in time, there's, if you could go back time, the chair song that now is going to be playing in my head the whole time while I'm answering this question.
Okay, definitely
she
not
was
Carlos.
very nice.
I've just learned that.
No, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. I'm very aware of it. I was in a music band growing up, and I was not even allowed to have a microphone in front of me in case I would just decide to do it. Best year of my life. Okay, sorry. So, question for you, because you said, what will be the year that you would like to relive? I am not sure that I will relive my best year. I think I will probably relive one of my worst years, just to try to make it better.
Yeah.
Where would you go with this question, Johann?
Shit. There's so many of them, honestly. There's so many I wish to go back to. I would probably choose some of my childhood ones. Like, that was where my mind went first. Dota would be easy to choose, like Frankfurt. The 2 majors one year, 2 majors next year was also great years, even though TI was rough. It had a rough ending. Of course, if I went back, I would try to change the ending. But if we talk about reliving and things going down the same way and stuff, yeah, I'll probably go back to my 6th grade, 7th grade year. It's been so much longer. I love the nostalgia that, but I find it closer to me, so I want to go back further. Yeah, my mind instantly went to 6th grade. Yeah.
So now my question is just for you. do I get to relive it exactly with the same outcome, or do I have the chance to change it?
I think it's no fun if you have to relive it and do everything the same. So I think I'm gonna judge's ruling is that you can make changes.
I'm definitely not going for the best one in case I fuck it up.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I'll go back to 6th grade. Thank you.
I would say for me is 2013. I got to direct the big movie that I directed at a time where I really wanted to direct it, but I was not ready to direct it. And I was not ready emotionally to survive it, not intellectually. And it's probably the biggest regret of my life. But my regret is not that I did something wrong. I did the best that I knew how to in that moment. But I wish I could do it all over again with what I know now. It would be like, I wish I could play the finals of TI6 with what I know now on TI9, because I will go back and I will crush everybody. But, that's just not how it works. But no, she was very lovely. And thank you for the rosters compliments. I would say it's all me. Thank you. Not at all. just for the record. But thank you. Okay, what is the next question?
Hello guys, my name is Labava, also known as LP Queen or Low Priority Queen. I'm a big fan of N0tail and OG from Bangladesh, and I wanted to know, since you guys were quite young when you started your professional careers, is there anything you wish were different back then compared to now? Anything that you think would have affected your progress or outcomes more positively? Had it been, more or less available back in the day? And is there any advice that you would want to give your younger self now that you're much older and wiser? That's all I had to ask. Thank you guys for having me here. Have a great day, and I hope OG does really, really well in the upcoming regional finals. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the
yeah.
question. Okay, so we have what wish we did different, and what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, so what would I do different having been younger? Definitely did not know as much, that's for sure. I would say, I have had no regrets and things panned out nicely. So I on one hand, I don't want to change anything, but let's say for the sake of it, that if I did, I would probably, after 1 year in Fnatic, I would make my own team already. And take more charge. If I could do things differently, I would take charge earlier myself. But also hopefully in the same spirit of still learning, because it would still be a long process. I wouldn't just have made a choice and start winning right then and there, but I think it was a thing I could have been ready for even earlier, potentially. If I could give myself some advice, number one would be take more charge of the team, become more of a leader, and get sound canceling headsets for flying earlier. Yeah.
That is the gift that Johann gave me when I signed with OG. He gave me my headphones. He said, "This is the best thing I found in a very long time. You should get these ones." And
it is one of the best life pro tips you could ever get if you are bound to travel for a bit or have to do some flights, is sound canceling in-ears or headset. Holy smokes, it makes a difference.
For me, what things that I wish I have done differently? Like you said, it's a tricky one because I'm here because of my mistakes and my successes.
Yeah.
I think the only regrets that I have, which is actually ties with my answer and my advice, I wish I was kinder to some people. I think at some points of my life, I got wrapped up in either the mission or what I was feeling. And I think that I wish I was kinder. Because if yeah, like if we could go back, I would say it would be like less backstabbing, in Hollywood. I could have done with much less of that, which we're trying not to do in the future. The horror stories that we have, in CSGO, sorry, in esports, where people don't get paid, the prize pools get stolen. I had all this shit also in Hollywood, There's so many people that owe me money and so many things that happened. So I wish I could change all of that, But the advice that I would say to myself would be, one of them would be, like you said, believe in yourself and invest in yourself. And the other one is being kinder goes much further than you think. It's a superpower. Because when you're kinder with some other people, it's not only how the world will see you, it's actually your own outcome against them. I can spend my day trying to figure out, oh, this motherfucker is doing this to me, or this guy is doing this to me, and like, look what he's doing to me, look what he's doing to me, why is he doing this to me? Or you can just be like, oh, this person needs help. How can I help him? He's clearly misguided or misunderstood. And if I cannot help him or her, maybe it's time to walk away with as much as compassion as possible, instead of just staying there and be jaded and be angry with the world,
Ah, well said. Karma is very real, in my opinion. You get a lot more from giving than you do from taking. All that jazz. I'm a full firm believer in it, and I do think that most people are inherently good. Almost all people are inherently good, and with that in account, you
Given the chance and given the nurture, they become good. I agree.
Yeah, deep down, inherently, and you can of course spoil everything.
Cool. We've got 2 questions left.
Okay, let's do it.
So this next one is kind of a bigger topic. It's not along the same central themes as what we've kind of been talking about today. But yeah.
Hi, hello. I hope all of you are well. So my question for today is, what are your thoughts on how we can improve Dota esport as a whole?
Okay, you're right. It's a very different question, and I'm gonna wait, Johann. I think we should pick up this one next week, because I think this is a full episode question. So if you want, we can actually start this with this clip and just talk about this for next episode.
Sure.
That would be okay with you, Josh? You call the question back, and we start with the question.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. I'll speak to the guy as well.
Because I've been talking to a few guests that I wanted to bring to actually talk about this as well. And Seb is one of them, and so is other people that I want to bring. So I think this should be like a great full wrapped episode.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
But to answer him, just give me all the power and I'll run Dota.
Make me dictator.
That's it. Yes. And then just get out of the way.
One club.
Okay, sorry. Let's go with the next person.
Hi guys, Kit from the Discord here. I just wanted to ask you a question regarding, OG being an org that really values friendship. What would you say would be like the challenges now and challenges forward, being the odd one out, really valuing in friendship, considering other esports team really valuing performance more than friendship? And would you see other teams jumping on that mindset as well? Thank you.
Awesome question. There's a lot for me to say about this. I would say that will other teams start jumping into this? I hope they don't, because then we will continue to win and we will continue to succeed. And if they are trying to stay in obsolete models, then that will give us the edge, because this works. And Johann and Seth have proved time and time again that this works, not only on the competitive, but on how great all our employees feel and how great they are doing and how much better we can even do for them, like we are just scratching the surface because we're trying to prove a model that doesn't exist, and we get a lot of things wrong. Imagine if we have more time, more money, more resources, and more experience to even do this better. Oh, this is going to be elevated even more. But the friendship part, the challenge of the friendship part, okay. I think the challenge of a friendship is that you have to open up yourself to let people in. And by opening up yourself, you become more vulnerable. And sometimes you have to really readjust your relationship with people, because with friendship also comes the fact that people get to talk openly about it and about how they feel about you and how they feel about things. I think it's a net positive. If you get all the things together, the good and the bad, it's very positive. But it means that we need sometimes a little bit of readjustments, where it's like, hey, I know how you're feeling right now, but I think that you're not really thinking about this outside of maybe your pain and your thing. And you have to think about it in a larger way. And the problem is when sometimes things don't work out, it's very hard to break up with a friend, where with a coworker, But when I get to know someone deeply and I understand what they want deeply in life and their struggles, it's very hard when it doesn't work. It's really, really hard. What do you think, Johann?
And quite often, I think it is made harder, and it has to be, I think, with clear communication and full transparency, which is not always present and granted. And not always that is like intentionally lacking. What I mean is, yeah, your friends. Now we're talking in the team aspect for Dota. I like to I like to draw as many metaphors as I can and make comparisons to kind of. It also helps me like talk about it in a different light. But like, let's say we're going on a mountain hike, like we're climbing a tall mountain. This is a proper project. This is dangerous. This is scary. This requires talent. This requires a team. This requires everything that then is within a team, because I want to make team as like a certain type of definition. And then in OG, it stands for something that we believe a team means, a team contains, a team involves. I don't think I should go out here and say all of those things, like what I do think that people should be mainly focusing on, but definitely friendship. Again, a version of the word is super crucial. I mean, super, super crucial. If you're treating this as a serious project and you're treating this as something that matters, and then on the other hand, is it hard? Yes, it's damn hard. It's harder than climbing a lot of these mountains, I believe. Like with the amount of teams that are competing, with the amount of things you're going to have to go through to play this amazing Dota, it is super hard. So for these things, people are going to have to put differences aside. They're going to have to work on their relationships. They're going to have to become better people themselves individually. They have to look inward and become better people. And for most, if not for all, that is super challenging. For some, it is super hard. And it's going to ask a lot of you, like not just this of you improving, but ask even more of you. It's going to ask you to sacrifice family, friends, life, time, so many things. And what can carry you through it is definitely that friendship. What can help you, get through this is definitely that friendship that you need to find. But yeah, I think it is very important to define these things as a group before you get into it, and be very clear of what you mean, because Jay and I calling each other friends right now, like for some people, it might mean, like the dude you see at the shop every day is your friend, but you interact for like 2 minutes. And for some, the word friend and friendship might mean, the dude who's going to take all the females on your side of the family down the aisle, like, it means the world to them. So it's also like, what does that mean to you? What is your obligations? What is a friend supposed to be to you? What's he supposed? And when you're friends in OG and when you're friends within a team, it means its own thing. And I can mainly speak for the rosters I've been in. It's a beautiful thing. Like it should be. Like becoming a team is a gorgeous thing. And sometimes there's not enough communication. There's not enough transparency. People hold back. People don't always say what they should be saying and letting it out. And then sometimes things get harder to talk about down the road. But we do a good job. We have done a good job for the most part over the years. A very good job. And I'm very proud of that people skill, human skill, to have seen myself understand it better and to see other people also get it. Like what this means, to build relationships with other people, with other guys over a project, guys or girls, and yeah. It would be nice if other teams don't do it. I would say so. Yeah, I don't think we're at a disadvantage at all. Quite the contrary. of course, it comes to certain things.
Just how
Just
is
to
from your
finish up,
perspective?
I know you're not interrupting. It's just a
Sorry,
delay.
keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. It's if you are conducting maybe very brief and short amount of business, and it's very transactional, which I could see from some orgs. It's a platform that can work. It's kind of like going to the bank, or it's kind of like going somewhere and you're just going to meet with them for an hour and get set up and get your thing, and then you're out the door and you're not talking to each other for weeks or months. I think that's good to get started, maybe for some, but it's not good entertainment. It's not nice for the players. It's not nice for the people in the org either. So in this context, I'll say, of course, be engaged, be hyped, build something together. At the end of the day, that's what it all is people coming together and doing something. So a level of friendship is always going to make it good. It's always going to make it nicer.
I was going to say that I would love also to hear from you, Josh, about how it feels from your side. I'm not really, don't feel like you're pampering to me or anything. It's like how, because we talk in a very unique way. I talk to you guys like my equals in most of the time, but I do need at some point a different, let's say, definition of where everybody's roles is. I think that's the key for me. I think I can be friends with everybody, but I don't want, in a way, like interference without jobs. So we have to have very clear lines of where everybody is. And then as long as everybody stays within those jobs, then the rest is all fun and friendship. But how is this for you, and how is different from maybe your experience that you have had in the past in your life with other jobs and such?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a culture shock almost, because I came from a very like a very corporate like job where it was everything had very clear lines, and you speak to your manager if it's this situation or this, but you tend not to bother them otherwise. And I think I moved from doing that full time and just having esports as like a part-time thing, to then kind of suddenly esports being my full time when I joined OG. And it was surreal at first, because I was used to having like all of these lines here, and I, kind of suddenly a few of the lines were gone. So it was an adjustment period. You're looking for a guide or something to start with. But then once I started to settle down, I realized that it was it allowed me to rely on myself and like a lot more, because I wasn't relying on the structure, if that makes any sense. So instead of kind of looking for a you know a 20-page guide on how to do my job, I am relying on myself, my own like kind of thoughts and ingenuity to get the job done, and I'm relying on the people around me within the job, you know. And I feel like that was a very good, a very positive change, because it just allows me to I think I feel freer, if that makes sense, and I think kind of what we're talking about is crucial to that, because it means that I'm not like coming into your hypothetical office and being like, can you sign this? I really need it because XYZ. Okay, thanks, see you later. I like our chats can be a lot more open and free form, instead of being, oh, you follow the script and then you get out of there, so I think it's certainly helped me. It's helped me find my confidence as well. And yeah, I haven't been doing the job for too long. It's like 5-6 months now, but it feels a lot better than where I was. So thank you for that. And I hope that kind of shed some light. I know sometimes when I speak it goes around in a loop, but yeah.
No, it's okay. So I will say, for example, I think that one of the keys of what you're saying is what Johann gave me as a value of this company. It's very clear on the mission. You have to figure out how to enable people. And enabling, it's a big concept. And I'm not sure, again, how much we want to give the secret sauce. But enabling, it's ownership, it's confidence, it's knowing that they can fuck up and it's okay. Enabling means that their ideas are being listened to and they're considered, but also they're tried. It means that I believe that you are right and let's see it together. And if you're not right, it's okay. But we gotta try things, otherwise we don't innovate. That is a true core of enabling, is I don't have to base what I know all in data. It's like we know data, and then we're gonna try things differently. And Johann does this to me, and I do this with you guys. And there is a lot of moments which I am going to agree. There is a text, there is like a 7 pages of Netflix, which by the way, we can reference or put it on the link, is Netflix believes that a structure is only good when it doesn't limit anybody. That the moment that the structure starts limiting, the structure already failed. And the process already failed. And it goes explaining how in Netflix they are rewarding these people that are innovators, creators, that they take ownership of what they're doing, that they can go and create their own path. And it literally says at one point, but this company is not for everybody. Because we know that there is incredibly talented people that cannot work under these circumstances. Which means that we're also honest about the fact that we might not be able to have the best people. But the people that are in Netflix are going to do great in Netflix. That was the whole premise. And there is also another concept that I do study is the Pixar and how Pixar was built. And in Pixar, you have many rooms and many departments, and they're actually decorated differently on purpose, so it feels like you own your own corner and your own world. And how you get to the office or to the desk of one person, and that little world is different from the world right next to it, which in a way is a visual representation of your real ownership, true ownership of what you're doing. And in OG, we don't have overlapping, very little. So everybody is enabled completely, and a lot of the information that flows back to me, that ultimately flows back to Johann, is based on information that you guys are on the field receiving and looking at and discovering. So when you tell me I get this information from blah, 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 then I bring it up and it's like, okay, Johann, with this information, what is the adequate response and a strategic key point that we're going to drive from this one? So I believe that the enabling is 100% true. Obviously, there's massive level of improvement because we don't have any guides or anywhere to learn this. And the friendship is maybe like Johann said, everybody can define friendship differently. For me, is the happy mood. Yes, we are co-workers, but we can do this and have fun. Today, when you were joining into this podcast, I told you, you're not really here to just read the questions. We are here, you are here, which you're one of us. That's the key. Every single time you're in a conversation where we all sit together, you're one of us. Anybody, Mike, I told him, in the producer, I said, dude, get yourself on the microphone, speak, and let the audience hear you speak, because then it becomes a little bit more conversational between all of us, which is the authentic part of this, not just blah, 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 blah. But yeah, now, fuck you, Johann, because now you said I talk a lot, and now I'm thinking about how much I talk. And how it never ends. I can pull the next thread, and the next thread, and the next thread, and the next thread. And then, yes, sorry, I'll shut up.
We love you, Jay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Michael, what can you say? No, put that so everybody can hear it. But yes, I think that's the key, the good vibe. And we have every week we have a quarterback meeting, and the quarterback meeting is not designed to be telling people what to do. It's an energy meeting. Let's come together as friends. Let's come together as a family. I clown around. I bring the energy. We talk about esports. We talk about different subjects, and then we send everybody with good vibes. It's not on a strategy meeting.
And
People know already what to do.
on that meeting, you can tell it's a good meeting and it works because people are in the call for 10 minutes before it starts. Like this week I went to log in, there was 2 people in there at like 10 minutes to the time it started. So that just goes to show how much it is it's not a lecture, it's a gathering point. And
Yeah.
like I look forward
Johan,
to
you
that
should
every
come
week.
to see the monkey business meeting that I have. It's every Monday. It just come in and we just talk shit, talk shop, and live with good energy. Everybody gets to be part of it, and I get to roast one at a time, most people, and then they get to roast me. It's been pretty fun.
Sounds like I should be there. I can pitch in.
Yeah. It's just an energy meeting. People already know what they're doing. People are really good at their job. They just need that extra, like, yeah, what you do matters, and we celebrate it. Remember we talked about this a year and a half ago, Johan, that we had a hard time celebrating our achievements? This is my celebratory meeting. And we celebrate each other, and we literally clap each other, and we have like the stand, like raise your hand in Google. So every single time there is somebody that is happy, we're all like clicking it. So it's like, it's an energy
like
meeting. It's a
applause.
celebratory meeting.
That's good. That's good. I like that. Just imagining the whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop, and everybody's
Whoop,
doing
whoop.
like clicking. You can hear the cling. And they're like talking shit on the chat about different topics. It's just a celebratory meeting because we have to celebrate what we achieve. When our guys are winning, we all have to celebrate it. When one of us makes an incredible campaign, an incredible post, an incredible thing, the podcast, there's so many things that are to be celebrated, and everybody gets to celebrate it with you. That's the Monday meetings. Awesome. I love these questions. Thank you so much, Josh, for pitching me into this project and for recording these videos. I think this is something we should do more often. It was great.
Oh, it's good. Best is having the
think so
fans ask
too.
questions.
Yeah, and we'll probably have a load more submissions for next time. So yeah, I can't wait. It's been a pleasure to come on here. It's been awesome just spending more time with you guys, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys soon for another round. So if you're watching this and you want to be ready for next time, my advice is to get in the OG Discord. So it's discord.gg/OG Esports. You want to get in there, and there's a channel called Monkey Business Show. You want to hang out in there. Any updates about next time or whenever an episode is posted, it'll be linked in there, and there'll be a guide on how to take part. So yeah, go for it.
Awesome. That was amazing. Michael, thank you so much for producing. Josh, thank you so much for putting this together. Johan, thank you so much for being here. And we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.